Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the Real Talk Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Sensudi, the great Denson, and Dean Sensi's here.
And now you miss me so much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see it on my face. Anyway, over here is the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What up?
Who's definitely going to regret being here again probably before the show is over. He's already got his eyes on our sign guy, Mr. Brodo.
Hi.
He's got double the power now. He can talk and make sounds. We're doomed.
Daly, I don't know what you're worried about. He's pretty innocent.
He's already
He's harmless. He's not going to do anything. Don't worry.
I have my doubts.
Anyway.
Is your mic okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
You were looking at me like you didn't know.
Anyway.
I'm not screwing anything.
This is the Hockey Happy Hour.
You guys.
He's already freaking paranoid. You see that?
Yeah, he is.
It doesn't take long.
Like I don't have a reason to be.
I don't know the reason.
I really don't either, to be
God.
honest with you.
By the way,
already.
Daly, move that mic a little bit closer. We would love to hear you. There you go.
I hate
We
you
want to
so
hear
much.
we want to hear. Listen, man, we want that mic to catch the bristles of your beard every time you move your face.
Texturized.
Anyway, welcome,
That's
ladies and gentlemen.
disturbing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour.
Matt's losing it. Everyone take cover.
It's already started. The insanity has begun, and if you are joining us, then good luck. But we are brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. The reflexes.
Don't worry. I saw you out of the corner of my eye.
Uh-huh.
Did you know?
I did.
I thought you
Yeah.
were sleeping over there.
No.
Listen, man, Bombay strapped him to the goal so that way he could make his stops. All right.
Someone has to make saves for them anyway.
All right. So with that, we unfortunately today we are crowning the greatest fucking devil in history of the NHL. Christ. Dean, you want to have the floor here? Just let you give your little introduction of the New Jersey Devils and thus crowning the greatest one in
I
history.
know if I start talking, Brodo's going to make some weird sounds as he's already getting prepared for.
No. I'm quite busy. I'm over here.
Oh, yeah. Please, stay PG over there. Come on.
He's trying to. He's getting ready to mess my night up a little bit.
But
I wasn't, but I can if you would like.
No, I'd rather you didn't. Not after last week.
Against the rest
Oh, God, last week.
Against the rest of the group's opinion, we will be doing the greatest devil of all time. I even have the great Penguin Muncher, Michael Kleinkoff's opinion on all this as well.
Oh.
I have his bracket.
Oh, you do you? Okay, then.
Hey, man, he's an honorary Devil fan, and he won't admit it to you guys.
That is
I was gonna say, I
fraudulent.
don't know how much of an honor that is.
110% a violation on your part, Mr. Klinkoff. Violation. Calling it right now. Flag on the play. You might want to consider turning in your Penguins card. Anyway, in place, though, of the Penguin Muncher, we have the great Mark Recchi just chilling right here where he belongs with the boys here.
Yeah, they put me out in Siberia, but
We did. You are appropriately. We made sure the seating arrangements were appropriate.
I'm
here.
tired of playing musical chairs every other week, so I just picked a seat and I stayed there.
Good, because you helped that happen. So anyway, with that being said, though, before we dive into the greatest devil in history of hockey, we will give you guys a little bit of update of what's been going on. Not really anything to speak of, though, to be completely honest with
Just
you.
a couple professional tryouts. I know Scotty Upshaw, former Flyer, got a professional tryout with the Dallas Stars. That's about it. Ben Lovejoy retired after, I think he said 15 seasons in the NHL. So he retired today.
He was in the NHL
That's about it.
that long. It's funny. You don't really think about it, but he was in the NHL for 15 years. Christ.
technically Yager's still in the league. That's the problem. That's why we keep on thinking how these people out of the league already.
Well, I mean, you think back, to the, I guess you can call it the glory days with,
The glory days.
guys like Messier and
Careful, you're showing your age now.
Lemieux and all those guys, and they all played for 20+ years. So
They did. They did.
they don't last that long anymore. Most of them anyway.
Well, Lemieux probably would have lasted a lot longer if he hadn't suffered the injuries and the cancer and everything like that he had to go through. Probably would have lasted a little bit longer.
No, totally agree.
I see the hate immediately as I just look up my phone.
Good.
I think I can blame Brodo for this one, but
It's all right.
I'm literally just sitting here.
It's all right. If it's hate that's being directed towards the Devils fan, then I don't mind. I'm going to allow it.
I'll allow it. But yeah, other than that, I haven't seen much. Probably just a lot of AHL moves. RFA's starting to get re-signed.
Yeah.
No offers are starting to go out for a bunch of players.
We
Where
also-
the fuck is our
also the
RFA
big-
signing? Jesus.
also
anyway.
the biggest thing I saw with Kuznetsov is his 4-year ban for having cocaine in his system
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
international play.
We-
the
we-
NHL's still determining what his ban's going to be for the NHL.
No surprise there. I mean, he was caught on video with the cocaine in front of him. Come on, dude.
Man, I'll tell you right now, he puts Mike Richards to shame right now. I'm like, damn. That made Mike Richards look like he was just a freaking choir boy when he was playing in the NHL.
Unfortunately, he doesn't top Jared Stoll, who had how much cocaine in the trunk of
When he
his.
got caught in Vegas. Oh, my God, that was great. Jared Stahl.
He tried to make it whatever
It's a shame. He was
happens
a-
in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, it's a shame. He was a good
Not
middle six
anymore.
player. Yeah, not anymore. But like I said, it's a shame because he was a good middle six player and he ruined his career with, that.
Hey, man, you know what? He probably did coke out of the Stanley Cup, to be honest with you.
probably
If he
did.
had that much, I bet you either Kuznetsov or Stoll just both said, you know what? See this brick of coke? I'm putting it in the bowl, and we're snorting right out of this sucker. That's what we're doing, 'cause that's how we roll. Or at least in Evgeny Kuznetsov's case, that's how we roll in Mother Russia. But anyway. What? Between Ovechkin's hangover and Kuznetsov's cocaine addiction, I'm
The
surprised the
legendary
Capitals.
Ovechkin hangover.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Capitals are even still here functioning properly on the ice.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail.
Sometimes
There's
I
also
feel
the
like I'm in
rumor-
jail here.
There's also the rumors floating around with the Capitals that they're considering trading Holtby to get more prospects.
I could actually see them doing that because the Capitals window is definitely starting to close.
Ovechkin's what, 34?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Penguins. Their window's starting to close. They can be competitive still, but the thing is can they compete continuously with younger teams like the Islanders, Rangers, Flyers, Devils? That's the real question that they're going to have to keep asking themselves. Can they keep up with them?
I definitely think they can. Their defense is still fairly young enough. I mean, I know they're getting a little older on the offensive side with guys like TJ Oshie and Alex Ovechkin, but they can still compete. They're still in their primes, and they'll compete. And I think if they do decide to trade Holtby, if they do, they're giving up on they're seeing their window is closed, and they're just going to start over.
Which would be interesting if they did do that, considering the fact that, Ovechkin isn't ready to retire and neither is Oshie. They just, what? We're just going to.
I mean, Holtby's under 30, right? Am I wrong there?
29, I believe.
All right,
So
so
he's
yeah,
about to
so
be
he's in the middle of his prime. Like, I understand if you feel like you need to make the move to refill to start a rebuild, but I don't think they need to yet. I don't think they need to worry about it.
Here's the thing. I don't think it's as bad, especially if they have somebody in the pipeline that they have a lot of confidence in as a younger goalie that they may have drafted. Not even that, too. You could trade Holtby, and then you could wait and see what you can find out there free agency-wise, because if a goalie winds up, actually, come to think about it, did anybody sign Sergei Bobrovsky?
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yeah,
Oh,
Florida.
okay.
That was
I forgot.
that was
for-
like
yeah.
the biggest move of the
I
offseason,
forgot, to be honest
honest
with you, because he's going to Florida, and
Yeah, you're also trying
Even-
to block it out because he was the Flyers let him go.
for nothing.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of a given. I think he's even openly stated that he wanted to go play in Florida, go play with Joe Quenneville.
The other reason why I forgot about it is because usually the immediate, reaction you get to Florida is like, oh, yeah, that's right, they have a hockey team. But, now it's a
Now-
little bit of
oh,
a different
yeah.
story.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
now it's terrifying what they
Yeah.
have.
God,
Remember, Florida has 2.
Well, they
hockey teams.
technically do, but when you hear Florida, you immediately think Panthers because they don't have a specific city designation. But the moment that you hear like, oh yeah, there's that other team that didn't win a Stanley Cup down there. But anyway,
let's get a couple comments here real quick. You got Mike Klinkoff, who is vacationing again.
hey, how's your 4 millionth vacation this year,
He
Clinky?
said, "What's good, boys?" Andy Ritter says, "Have a good show. You can catch on Sunday afternoons on In This Very Ring."
Yes, check that out.
Mike wants to know if we miss him. I say no.
I mean, to be honest with you, you didn't really say much last week. I mean, just saying. It's like, come on, man. We miss you if you'd
You
speak.
already lost your seat.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
this.
Yeah, we did. We did replace you with Ricky.
We also give your mic the Brodo.
That is true, yeah. That's a fate worse than death. But
David Raskus chiming in saying, "Lane to the Ducks. Ain't happening, bro. Sorry."
what, you don't want Lane?
It's not that I don't want Lane. Dude,
It's just
price
not
is going to
gonna
be
happen.
hella expensive. It's just not going to happen.
You would not be able to afford
If that
it.
would happen, they would have to get rid of Getzlov too.
There is
Ducks roster's set for training camp. We're good.
there is so many teams that would not be able to afford Lane right now, and I think almost all of our teams fall into that category. Even the Devils, they fall
I
into
agree.
that category.
The Rangers had the biggest push for him, and then they signed Panarin. That was the problem.
I honestly,
Line was looking to play for the Rangers too.
it really doesn't matter.
I'm
It's-
sure everybody wants to play for the Rangers. The history of the team,
that and
being
also
in New
the
York
fact that
City.
they got the number 2 overall draft pick on top of it. They're a team on the rise. So, yeah, why wouldn't you want to play over an MSG, you know?
Christian Miranda's chiming in. Oh, I lost a comment. Where is it? There it is. She's replying to our poll question saying that, which our poll question is,
Without Marty
without Marty Brodeur, the Devils would not have won a cup. Agree or disagree? She kind of twisted it a little bit, and I like it. Without Jonathan Quick, the Kings would have 0 cups.
I'm going to assume she's a Devils fan, and that's the reason why she responded that way.
No, Ducks fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's chimed in before.
Oh, well,
yeah,
then,
she's also hating on the Kings, to be honest.
either way, though.
That should be
Absolutely.
given.
Either way, though.
Given. Duh.
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's be honest, though. You're right. I'm not denying that at all. Quick was massively important in both of those Stanley Cups.
She said she wants to know how often we're on. Every Thursday night at 10.
Every Thursday at 10.
Every Thursday.
Unless lazy booking that usually goes on before us at 7:30 isn't here, we go on at 8 o'clock. But that's only if.
Yeah, and if not, I was posting Ducks Nation, which is where I know you from.
So hi.
So hi. So we're. What else we got here? We got. Well, Clinky said vacation is going great. Has some good weather today.
I think you beat out Brodo
That's
in,
for
like,
you.
in all the vacations, by the way.
There's only one.
No, there was 2.
In 1 year, I only had 1. That was last year. It's different.
Oh, so now we're
It was
counting
actually
the
1 year.
years
It was
on
actually
this
exactly
now.
1 year ago today.
Oh.
Which means he's going on his
This
next one
time
very
last
soon.
year, I was in London, away,
Oh, and that's right.
away from
Chip
this.
Chitio.
I can't
Away
say
from,
that I blame
away
you for
from
that.
all of this. He went across the
wanna go
pond to
away.
get away
Yes.
from everybody.
I want to go away.
But let's be honest, he really only wanted to get away from Ralphie. But anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What else we got here? We got.
I'm going to call him, by the way. I'll get him in here.
Just to play his soundbite because you know you love it so
Yeah,
much.
he's not doing anything right now.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, I know for a
Probably
fact
is.
he's not
Listen,
doing
if he
anything.
doesn't respond, we know God's saying not today.
You got to wait for him to be in the chat daily.
No, that's for the full thing. I was just giving you half of it.
But anyway, by the way, for the Twitter poll, yes, you could agree or disagree. Without Marty Brodeur, the Devils would not have a Stanley Cup. And I agree wholeheartedly. Brodeur is the reason why the Devils have Stanley Cups. Because they were a strictly defensive-minded team. And yes, the trap zone was a pain in the dick. The Flyers know that all too well. But there were teams that could beat the Devils and beat them routinely. Because the trap zone didn't work against them. That's the thing that you have to keep in mind. The trap zone didn't work against Colorado. Colorado had too much of an offense for it to work. But that's the thing. If you had a very high offensive team, it didn't work. Brodeur is the glue that held all that together. He's the guy who, at the end of the day, it's just like, you know what? If by some chance there's a really great offense that trap zone can't trap legitimately, Brodeur can at least stop it. And Brodeur was that backstop at the end of the day that ensured you a Stanley Cup. He was the reason why nowadays you judge a team based on goalie. Because when you think about it, without Brodeur, where would that team be? That team may have one cup. One. And I'll give them 2002. I will give them that. Or not 2002, 2000. I will give them that one. That one, I will
was
give
the
them.
high-scoring playoffs for the Devils.
I will give them that one. But when it comes down to it, they would not have three. They would not have three without Brodeur. The Ducks would have beaten them without Brodeur. I mean, I think we can safely say that. I think the Red Wings probably would have beaten them without Brodeur. It's just the way it is at the end of the day.
What is going on?
I don't know. Either way, I was trying.
Ralphie in the house. Ralphie in the house.
Oh boy.
Star! A great big shining star!
See, this is.
Yeah!
See,
What up, Ralph?
See, this is what happens. I tried to get serious and pull us back into hockey, and this shit happens.
I told you he wasn't
Anyway.
doing anything.
He never does. I mean, let's be fair. Unless he's playing Xbox, what's he doing?
Well, he's also dreaming up of trades to get rid of Claude Giroux.
No, he needs to work on his swimming. He needs to not cramp up.
From what I've heard of that A2D pool party.
You gotta, man. You gotta let God say, hey, man, today's your day.
There's pools, and then
Today's your day.
What it is?
You can't go out there in a post race interview and say, well, God said not today.
Oh my God!
Come on, Ralphie, get it together.
At the end of the day, there's pools, and there's people who shouldn't be in pools.
I knew it. I knew it. He's on Xbox. I knew you were.
Brian, don't
encourage
don't
him.
pump yourself up. Anyone could have guessed that at this moment. Just letting you know.
You can't let me have my moment, can you? Ever.
Nope.
I hate you.
I can't. I
Son
wouldn't.
of a bitch.
It wouldn't be me if I did. Anyway, you did have your moment, by
That's
the
why
way.
I have no self-esteem. It's because of this guy right here.
Oh, that is bullshit. But anyway, considering the fact I'm one of the guys who brought you onto this damn show. But anyway,
I give credit to Prove.
we both
Prove, we miss you.
we both invited you. Don't you dare. Don't you dare try and do that. It's not like Mikey. Mikey we just found on the street, and you invited yourself onto the show. But anyway.
I don't think anybody else is hearing it.
Oh, no, I heard it. I acknowledged it. I'm just going to keep on going.
I thought Brian was just talking. I just heard this going on.
Yeah, every time.
That's pretty cool.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Did we give a little shout out?
yes, please.
Let's give a little shout out to Jason Martinez of the Fanatic joining us. See him joining us here on Facebook Live.
Welcome.
Welcome, Jason.
Welcome to the chat. Hopefully you enjoy.
So, we're gonna get started on this bracket here.
He has commented. I'll get rid of the Ducks now.
Oh, Jason says hockey hour, and I wasn't invited. This is total BS, boys. You're always invited.
You're invited.
You're always invited, Jason.
Well, there's an open invitation for the entire internet.
Absolutely, you can always join us, man. Absolutely.
Hey, let me just say this right now. We had the most rare sighting in the world. It's even more rare than Bigfoot. We found a Phoenix Coyotes fan. So let that sink into your head for a quick second right there. That is awesome. We are like Mythbusters here. We have proven that Coyotes fans exist. I'm proud of
Proven
that.
a lot of stuff.
You know, we
Yeah.
found the Ducks fan in New Jersey, so anything's possible now.
That's right.
He says, was my invite lost in the mail?
Come on, man. You're always invited. You're always welcome.
Brian, on the other hand.
I mean, I was
See,
going to.
that's just rude.
That's just unnecessary.
Seriously.
Oh, but anyway. All right. So why don't we crank into this bracket here, the greatest devil of all time. Dean, go ahead. Tell us what the bracket looks like.
But before you get into that, I'm stressing, please, everybody who's listening, watching, commenting in, play along with us.
Yes, please.
Please interact. We want to hear your opinions on the matchups that we got going on here.
I also invited all the Devils groups I'm part of to chime in as well as we're going through the bracket.
All right, then. So, Dean, why don't you grab that there bracket in front of you, and why don't you read off your matchups?
Thank you, Brodo. I want to make sure it began. I'm shocked I'm not hearing it from this side of the room, though.
Oh, because Brodo's got it covered. Why do I have to sacrifice myself? Go ahead.
Are you done yet?
No, I don't think he is.
Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
Go ahead,
All right.
Dean.
All right,
Go
so
ahead.
I picked from the 16. I just picked from 16 Devils that, from watching, liking. It was hard to choose. I didn't want to go past 16, or it was going to take forever. The Ducks one took forever last week.
There were 16, and you guys wouldn't shut the hell up so we can go through the damn bracket.
I was going to say, that had nothing to do with the number of participants.
No, that's the fact I couldn't get through it.
It was a struggle. I would have been.
It was a struggle. And by the way, you contributed very heavily to it.
I did.
But anyway, go ahead.
I know
you
did.
get a gold
I'm well
star
aware.
from
I didn't
last
forget.
week.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you.
right now the first matchup from my personal favorite player till to this day is Zach Parise against the infamous, hated, I hope he never comes back. Oh, wait, he already did. Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yeah, but he's languishing in a really crappy, shitty Los Angeles Kings team. So
Very true.
revenge is a dish best served you know what. Go ahead.
Nothing beat the first time the Devils played against the Kings when Kovalchuk joined the team and he got wrecked like 4 times. It was a good night. It was a great night.
Oh, I'm sure it was for you.
All right, so in that matchup, I have Zach Parise winning, only because in his time with the Devils, Parise was by far the most influential player on the team. He was the captain of the team for 3 of the seasons. He was on the line with Kovalchuk. If it wasn't for Parise, Kovalchuk probably would not even have half the points he would have with the Devils in his tenure.
Honestly, when you thought New Jersey Devils back after the post-Cup period, you thought Zach Parise
Very
because
true.
he was the best player on the team, and he was better than Kovalchuk. I said it. He was better than Kovalchuk.
It broke my heart when I found out he was leaving and go to Minnesota.
I wasn't surprised when he did, though, because he kind of made it obvious. Like, I want to go play
He
home.
tried 2
Yeah.
things. One, he tried to take less money, but the Devils still couldn't reach the number he wanted. And 2, he even tried to get Ryan Suter on the team. And
Yeah,
once Suter finally committed to Minnesota, it was over.
he was gone with him. I hope he enjoys it now because Minnesota can't even get into the playoffs.
Or
But
if they do,
anyway.
they can't get past the first game.
And when they do, they get to the semifinals and get smacked. But anyway, go on.
I mean, unfortunately, like in this matchup, like I wound up going with Zach Parise. I thought he was the better overall player than
was.
Ilya Kovalchuk was.
I can make this entire
But
show
here's
about
the-
shit-talking Kovalchuk all night, trust me.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sure you can.
Absolutely. But with Zach Parise, and it's a shame because he went to Minnesota and just kind of, because of injuries,
Yeah.
Injuries, the status of the team.
he played the game so well.
He
and
did.
he was a very unselfish player. He knew how to make plays, and he was actually a fairly good offensive player as well.
Also, before Patrick Kane came into the league, he was probably the best U.S.-born player in the league at that moment in time. Possibly competing with Joe Pavelski. But still, at the end of the day, it was one of those two. It was like 1A, 1B, and then Kane came along. I was like, all right, he kind of beats them. But still, there you go.
By far.
Yeah.
So Jason Martinez chiming back in. He says Brodeur, not even close. End of debate. Drop the mic. He also said Brodeur, Stevens, and Elias are the top 3 Devils. I mean, you can make a couple arguments for that top 3, but
I
I
purposely made this bracket difficult,
It's
so
the
that
truth,
way
though.
it didn't make it there.
but it's Brodeur, Stevens, Elias. I mean, you could throw Scott Niedermayer in there.
You
You
could
could
throw
throw any of these
Niedermayer in
guys
there, yeah.
on this list right now into this list of top Devils, except for I think Parise, Kovalchuk so far.
All right, so the next matchup I have Patrick Elias and the other former Devils captain Brian Giunta.
Now, this one was actually a little tough for me because I hated Gianna so much.
I'm pretty sure you still do.
Not anymore, because once he went to Montreal, his talent left. But
And then he went to Buffalo, and his talent really just
yeah, then his talent just said, "No, I'm not following you to Buffalo. What the hell's wrong with you?" Anyway, but overall, though, I would say Elias, because I think Elias, longevity-wise, he was always a top contributor. He was a subtle contributor to the team. You forgot he was there, and that's what made him scary, because that's like.
And he was a clutch player,
Yeah.
too. He was known for his playoff performance.
Because think about it. Back when the Devils had guys like Peter Sikora, Brian Gianna, Scott Gomez, you forgot Elias was there. And it's like, and Elias was scary because it's like, oh my God, we forgot all about Patrick Elias, and Elias would score on you. It's like that's how good of a player he was. He was so subtle, you forgot all about him. And that also showed that they had a lot of talent on the team.
Yeah, and
But-
especially with the line that he played on. I mean,
Yeah.
he was one of the best centers in the league at one point, and he was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And even when they moved him to winger, he was still one of the best wingers in the game too.
He was
But
he was a very
about him.
versatile player, and he could do so much. Pass the puck, he could. Obviously, he had a really nice. I thought he had a really nice first shot that
Above
he
average
was-
speed until his last couple years with the team.
Yeah, and just his leadership in general was
And
just something that was
Another thing
untouchable.
that we always forget about in the world of hockey is hockey smarts, hockey IQ.
Yeah.
He
Oh, his
had
senses
one of the
were unreal.
highest IQ. I think the only player to this day that could probably outrank him in IQ is Yager.
We got Jeremy Miller chiming in saying Parise had a great year last year. Yes, he did because he stayed healthy most of the year.
He did.
Greg Malakovic says, my dudes and Dean, what's up, fellas? I'm sorry I can't stay long. I'm in Florida bracing for a hurricane. Plus, you're talking Devils.
I mean, yeah, I think it was more the Devils thing than the Hurricane that kind of turned him off. But anyway.
Jeremy Miller says, love Gio. Greg Malakovic says, I do agree with the poll. Marty was such a goat, he carried those teams. And last but not least, Jeremy says, Elias had smooth skills.
He did. And also the longevity of him, too. He stayed on the Devils for a long time. And actually, I think he retired as a New Jersey Devil, come to think
Elias?
of it.
Yeah, I think he played his
seasons.
entire career, yeah.
Yeah, he played his entire
He
career.
almost left in the middle of his career, and the Devils said, we're not losing you.
That shows you.
You can't lose a
what-
guy like him,
But
'cause
here's the thing.
He's a franchise player.
They lost Gianna, but they did not want to lose Elias. That tells you right then and there just how talented he was. Yeah, maybe Gianna was the name that was a little flashy for a period of time, but Elias was the workhorse of that line, and they knew it, and they kept him for all those years. So, in my opinion, it's Elias, hands down.
And even during the years when Parise and Kolchuk took over the first line, Elias was a strong second liner,
He
and,
was.
and he was a strong power play guy every
he
year.
was. He was. I hated him very much, but that only means that he was that good of a player.
Now, I like this comment from Jason Martinez. He says, Elias will go into the Hall of Fame.
I
Agree or
agree.
disagree?
I think he will. I honestly think he will. He was a part of teams that won the Cup, and he was a major contributor.
All right. Well, I mean, is there any reason that he shouldn't be?
No,
I can't think of one.
I
He's
can't
already
really
in the
think of
Czech
it.
Republic Hall of Fame,
So it would make sense that he would follow suit in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
and
so.
he's already
yeah.
coaching internationally as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we're unanimous in Elias.
Oh, yeah.
Elias.
Elias
Like,
definitely is going into the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
For someone who has the most points in Devils history, his plus minus never dipped any season. He had one bad year, and even then he still had 60 points.
To be fair, I think that was a whole team problem. That was a team effort of not having a great year. You know, that's really the only bad time. But yeah, Elias, he'd probably be a first ballot, to be honest with you.
I don't really think we need to check the numbers. I mean, we all know how he played, and I don't know about these guys, but I'm old enough to. I grew up watching the guy for most of his career, so I know this type of player that he was.
I
And
remember watching him.
Absolutely think he deserves Hall of Fame.
I remember watching him, and I hated his guts. So just like I hated everybody else on
I
that
mean,
team.
unfortunately, Paul Kariya got into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I love him. He's my favorite player of all time. But, I don't think he was Hall of Fame worthy. I mean, he had a shortened career. He didn't. I mean, he had a lot of points in a lot of games played. He averaged a point for every game played
Yeah.
in his career. So
Yeah,
he
but
got in. Elias definitely deserves it.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, though. Hockey Hall of Fame, the reason why I say that Korea does deserve to be in there is because he was kind of, when you think of a team, you think of players. When you thought of the Ducks, you either thought of Teemu Selanne or you thought of Paul Kariya. So in my opinion, it just has to be the case. When you think of somebody, when you think of that team, they have to be in the Hall of Fame. For example,
Yeah, but okay. So here's my argument to that, and I agree with you for the most part. After he left Anaheim and went to Nashville and St. Louis
yeah.
and Colorado, his numbers dipped. His numbers were never the same after he left.
Well, also, I think he still suffering from a lot of injury problems.
Well, that came in St. Louis
Oh,
he
okay,
had
then,
he had a nest. Well, I mean, the Scott Stevens hit on him.
That
in the
affected
2003
him,
Stanley
yeah.
Cup Finals affected him, but for the most part, once he hit St. Louis, he really started having some major injury issues. But Nashville, Colorado, he couldn't develop chemistry with anybody. He just never had that same chemistry.
Well, that can happen with anybody. When you
No,
get right down
I
to
get
it,
that,
you
but
know?
I'm just saying, like, me personally, when I look at who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, I look for consistency. And Patrick Elias is that guy.
I
He's
gotcha.
been nothing but consistent his entire career.
He has been. He absolutely has been. All right, so next matchup.
The next matchup, we got Jay Pandolfo, another name that everyone probably forgot about,
I did.
and the great Brendan Shanahan.
Well, this is funny because not only were they both Devils, they were both Red Wings as well.
Yeah,
They were. But I would
line
say
mates most of their careers.
But I would say I would go with Pandolfo over Shanahan only because when I look at Shanahan, it's like I don't really remember him as a Devil really all that much. I remember him more for his Red Wings run than anything else.
Jason Martinez says he's got to run. Great job. Loving hearing some pucks combo. Cheers. Thanks for
you.
joining us, Jason.
Thank you. My opinion, when I went the other route. I went Brendan Shanahan. To me, when he was on the team, he was just one of those rough, tough guys that everybody on the ice wanted to avoid.
He was, but for me, I would say this. I looked him up and I was looking at his stats like he's really only a Devil for a very short period, and I was like, I don't know, like longevity-wise, Jay had more on him, at least on the team, and I felt like that's what ultimately to me gives him the nod. It isn't anything against Shanahan as a player. It's just like if he was a Red Wing, if this was a Red Wings bracket,
Yeah.
he goes over Pandolfo. But I would say because it's a Devils bracket, I put Pandolfo over him.
Okay, I can respect that. Yeah.
Well, here's my thing, and my opinion on it is, not that I don't have any love for Jay Pandolfo, but the thing about Brendan Shanahan, it was, and this is why I picked him over Pandolfo, is like you said, he was like that gritty player, but he had a huge offensive upside when he was playing. So he could score goals, but he could also be that guy that, if you need a big hit, he'd come in and give you that big hit. He made plays. He made plays happen.
The only thing is we're also comparing apples to oranges. Jay Pandolfo was more of a grinder who snuck in through to play to get this weird goal, or he'll break the line to set up the rush. While Shanahan would just push people over, get out of the way.
You had a truck and a snake. That's basically what you're comparing them to.
Yeah. All right, the next matchup, we got John McLean and Bobby Holik.
This was a little tough because John McLean for the early years of the Devils was kind of the identity. But Bobby Holik, it's very hard to argue against him because Bobby Holik was a huge part of the New Jersey Devils team for a long time. So I would have to say it's Bobby Holik. Nothing against McLean. He had a massive importance to the team in its very young days. But you can't argue against Holik's history with the team.
Before I give my vote, before Jason signed off, said, don't forget the great brick New Jersey product, Jimmy Dowd.
Oh, yeah.
Eileen Pompey says, good evening, guys. Eileen.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Eileen.
And
I forgot Berto was
little
here.
more enthusiasm.
Hi, Eileen.
There you go.
Oh, come on. That was not nearly as enthusiastic. Yell it at the top of
I'll
your
work
lungs.
on it.
I want
I'll
those
work on it.
anacondas to
Hey,
come up from
hey,
Florida.
I'll work on it. Hey.
We got Frank Vespi chiming in. Hey, yo, sorry I'm late, but that, and then I'm bothering you. Hashtag, man. Right, I forgot about that. Sorry. Start over.
No,
Sorry.
You were saying?
You said, hey, yo, sorry I'm late, and that I'm bothering you. Hashtag banana heads at work. You're not sorry. Stop it. You're not sorry.
John Cena!
So nice you had to play it twice. All right.
Well, I interrupted the first one like a douchebag.
Smooth.
As long as you admit it.
Unfortunately, Eileen, we are not talking any Flyers tonight. We are talking purely Devils.
Do you have any questions, though?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Questions,
if you-
comments,
yeah,
concerns?
If
we got
you. If you want us to talk about anything particular Flyers, yes, feel free to comment
Please
that in,
let us
and we
know.
will hit that up immediately.
Trust
Okay.
me, they'd rather do that anyway.
Yes, I would rather do that all night than have to do this damn bracket, but I did. I want to let everybody know I was a man. I sucked it up and I did this damn thing. Anyway.
Well, there was a lot of pouting and screaming outside right before the show, but
No, not really. That was actually more from you because I picked somebody you disagreed with. But anyway.
It was weird. It was raining yesterday, and I guess I assumed he did this yesterday. It's just like, it was weird.
Actually, no, I did it today when I should have been actually focusing in my class. But anyway, go on.
My
I got
vote-
Bobby Holik.
yeah. Originally my vote was McLean, but just thinking on it, Bobby Holik's career, he was just amazing.
Yeah. It's hard to argue against him. But Next up,
We're going to the
other side.
Other side of the bracket. Already at a faster pace than the Ducks.
Because we're not giving you shit for some reason. I don't know why.
Unfortunately, we can't tie
Just
the
me.
we can't tie the Devils into any movies. Although we could tie them into fake New York Islanders fans. But anyway, go ahead.
The next matchup, John Madden against Jamie Langenbrunner.
Jamie Langenbrunner.
I got to take Jamie Lang.
Yeah, even though John Madden did contribute at clutch moments here and there, Langenbrunner was not just clutch. The man just scored all the time. It's impossible to go. Whether he was on the Stars or he was on the Devils.
And
it
on the
didn't
Stars
matter.
again.
Huge impact. Yeah,
Yeah.
huge impact player. Always had left some kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Impression on the ice.
Yes.
Whether it
Leadership
was scoring,
also.
leadership, or physicality.
He
He was
also-
another one of those complete players.
He also helped the development of Zach Parise as well. He basically handed the mantle to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted Jamie Langenbrunner on the Flyers.
Wasn't going to happen.
Well, no, unfortunately, it was not.
No, I don't remember much about John Madden. I remember him being more of like a gritty bottom six type player.
But he would get those clutch goals in like the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he would be like a big
That's why
contributor
he
there.
earned his spot on this list here. His playoff career undermined anything in the regular
and I will give you
seasons.
credit. You put John Madden instead of putting Claude Lemieux, so I will give you that one.
I almost put Claude, but I ran out of room.
Claude is a piece of shit. So anyway, and you cannot argue with that one, Daly. You know he was a piece
I was
of
going to
I'm
put
not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
Well, he likes to be PC and say, he wasn't really a piece of shit. He was just a grinder, and it was
I'm
kind
far
of
from PC. What are you talking about? I'll call a piece of shit when I see a piece of shit.
Go ahead. Next matchup.
Next matchup, we got the great Kirk Muller, and we got the current Devil, Taylor Hall.
I was going to go Kirk Muller only because Taylor Hall is still an active player, but I think when it does hammer out, Taylor Hall will have contributed more than Kirk Muller.
Taylor Hall's career is just completely resurrected when he became a New Jersey Devil. And he's back to being that person that they thought he was going to be
In Edmonton.
at the draft in Edmonton. You know, the 30, 35, 40, 45 goal scorer. And you're going to see that again this year from Taylor Hall, especially now that Phil Hughes has been drafted and will probably wind up on the first line with him, or at least the second line. And even if he doesn't have Phil Hughes, he's going to have, or Jack Hughes, he's going to have Nico Herscher.
And Paul Mary and
Kyle
PK
Palmieri.
Subban backing them up.
Yeah, and on the back end, having PK, especially on the power play, is going to be huge for Taylor Hall.
Boy, it'd be real funny if the Devils do another one of those. They ascend and they just fall right back down to earth. I'll cry laughing if it happens, by the way.
If that
know
does happen, it's got to be, in my opinion, it's going to be based off of goaltending.
Probably, yeah.
That's the one
weak
big
point.
question right now: Schneider or Blackwood, or go out and trade for someone, which
we
is the
traded,
problem.
We traded you our goaltending problem. Enjoy it.
It's a rare sight when you hear about the Devils having goaltending problems. So
Well, yeah, because you stumbled into, a freaking generational goaltending talent. But anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
based off between the two, I also chose Taylor Hall. Nothing against Kirk; he was a great player, great physicality. He was another one of those nitty gritty snipers.
And he contributed in another part in the early days of the New Jersey Devils. That was another thing that, like John McLean back in the day, these were guys who set the kind of the definition or the early identity of the New Jersey Devils when they were looked at as just a complete laughingstock of the NHL.
Especially when the great Wayne Gretzky came out and said, "Get rid of these Mickey Mouse teams." But there's another Mickey Mouse team in the room, but actually was a Mickey Mouse team. But all right, moving
You
on.
guys need some new material.
I mean,
Kind of old.
I will say I didn't say it. So
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, did you need me to play the duck?
go right ahead.
Duck?
Yeah,
Go right
ahead.
Go right ahead. Yeah, I think he's earned it.
Okay.
Speaking of Duck, in the next matchup, I have. This is where the corner of hell, where it took me a while to make my picks.
You only have yourself to blame for this matchup.
Yeah,
too.
I agree. You have no room to talk. I saw your bracket.
Ooh, this one's swimming.
So we have Scott Niedermeyer and Scott Stevens.
Ugh, what a piece of shit that guy is.
Before you guys give your picks, Jeremy Miller says Jimmy Lankenbrunner was so upset when they didn't bring him back. Also, wish Kenny Agostino came back.
D'Agostino. Oh, that's interesting.
Augustino, when Augustino joined the team, he had a pretty good outlook. He started playing very well. He got hurt, and then the Devil season started going downhill. So at that point, anything was going to be good, unfortunately.
During that time period when the Devils had one of the oldest rosters in the entire NHL during that period of time, that was pretty rough.
Yo, what's up, Trevor? I see you hiding in here.
Hey, Trev, what's going
What's up,
on,
Trevor?
man? But yeah, so
Trevor's here.
Trevor's here.
yes, he
He's
is.
not on my computer. He's not on my screen.
He's on my screen.
He's hiding from you.
Trevor,
He's gonna come out and say boo.
I thought we had a mutual understanding, Trevor.
He's gonna sneak up from
Apparently
behind.
not.
So,
By the way, Trevor, we're waiting for that guest show. Anyway, go ahead.
this was a really tough one for me. After much consideration, I gave it to Scott Niedermayer. Even though Stevens was probably the face of the franchise, even with Brodeur on the team, Scott Stevens being the one that killed multiple players on the ice.
Mine came back.
Yeah, one of the few.
He was
Scott
he
Stevens,
was dead
who
on
was-
the ice for about 5 minutes.
Scott Stevens, who, thank you,
He was a brick wall.
brick
The
wall,
man was a brick wall.
destroyed all
Brick
of his
wall?
competitors.
He had, dude. What's
Brick-
funny
the
is
man
like,
intentionally went out to hurt people. That's not a brick wall. That's a fucking
Sounds like every
thug.
Flyer known the man, except for Bobby Clark and Mark Recchi.
well, Bobby Clark was a little bit of a thug as well.
He
yeah,
was.
he had his moments.
But also, to be fair, back then, it was the Flyers. And it was the 1970s when the NHL didn't give a shit back then. Totally
They
different
didn't give
story.
shit in the 90s and 2000s. They give a shit now. But
Now, Scott
Okay.
Stevens was in the league today. Every hit he would make would have been a penalty.
Would have been illegal.
Easily,
yes.
hands down.
Absolutely. Actually, you could say that for most players back in the day. You could say it for guys like Adam Graves. You could say it for guys like Dave Brown on the Flyers.
Ty Domi,
Ty Domi on the Maple Leafs.
the biggest scum of the earth.
Donald Brashear as well.
who
Anybody
apparently is involved in cocaine issue as well.
Well, when you fight as much as he does, I'm sure you're going to develop one of those. Anyway,
But Scott Niedermayer, to me, he was more of the scorer. He was the leader of the defense. Stevens went up for the hit. Niedermayer always had to pitch back and kind of cover
They worked
Stevens'
together.
ass.
They did a really good job of working together as a defensive pair. When one guy would pinch up, the other guy would sit back, and they worked really well together. I picked Niedermayer, and I gave him the edge because,
Quack.
like most of these other guys,
I think that had a contribution. I saw.
no.
Oh, it didn't? Oh, okay.
There is a little bit of bias there, but it's not enough. Like, I got to watch him firsthand, which was great on multiple occasions. And Niedermayer he was a complete player. He knew when to push forward with the puck, and he had great offensive upside. What are you doing?
I'm just listening.
I don't trust you guys anymore.
When-
Great
when did
offensive
you- when did you
upside.
ever trust us?
I trusted until about 3 weeks ago.
Until the show started.
Until last week.
Until you met me. Until you met me.
Yeah, so I started working with you on a more consistent basis. Good defensive skills, obviously, being
Great,
an
and
offensive defenseman.
Yeah, above average offensive power when it
And
came to Niedermayer
just
as well.
a phenomenal leader. He knew when to pull guys aside, and he had a great relationship with most of the referees in the league, and he was just a really, really good player.
Going back into the last conversation, one of the biggest moments I remember watching to this day was when Ty Domi clipped and completely laid out Niedermayer. And the only person that saw it on the ice was Scott Stevens, who was in the penalty box at the time. The refs had to hold the door shut because he was about to storm out there and just make Ty Domi look even worse.
Yeah, I can't necessarily blame him for that.
I miss that days in the NHL. Unfortunately, everybody's worried about player safety nowadays.
Well, when you got fans crashing over the glass to start fighting Ty Domi, you got to start putting.
Okay, to be fair, that's stupid, and that dude did deserve to get his ass kicked by
I'm
Ty
not saying
Domi
he
on
didn't.
that
He
one.
went after Ty. You went after Ty Domi.
You went after Ty Domi. You called
you
down
got
the
a problem.
thunder. You called down the thunder. Now you're gonna fucking get it.
That's the only
Brian's
time
getting a
my-
lot of love in the comments right now.
I'm
because
sure
I'm
he
lovable,
Wait.
and I interact with people.
Broda?
He's what?
Brodo's like, what
I'm
the
lovable?
fuck did I just hear?
What did you just say?
For the third time, I'm lovable.
All right. So the final match in the top 16.
I didn't say anything, so don't get mad
That's
at
rude.
me.
That is
All right.
rude.
All right, go.
The final matchup in the top 16, I got the great Martin Brodeur and Ken Danico.
This is hands down Brodeur.
It's hands down Brodeur.
It's easily Brodeur.
A lot of love for Ken Danico. I love his analysis on the NHL Network. He breaks down games and situations really well, but Brodeur.
Great color analyst. Hated him as a player, but yeah, it's Brodeur still.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Round 2.
So we're going on to the top 8. The first matchup, I got Zach Parise and Patrick Eliage.
Zach Parise.
Wow.
That may sound a little bit surprising, but
Little. I
Here's
might
a-
have to come over there and hurt you.
But I wanted to
I'm
pick.
thinking, Jeremy, you are a Devils fan. He said, just watched 1990-2000 round 2, game 6. Scott Stevens drops Ty Domi. So satisfying.
I agree.
Unless he just hates Ty Domi, which I can't necessarily.
Well, who
vote
doesn't
for.
hate Ty Domi?
There was almost everybody.
Ty
who
Domi
hated
hates Ty Domi.
Can I tell you, I follow Max on Instagram, and Max Domi is probably one of the coolest cats I've ever seen.
He
He's
definitely
awesome.
did take after his father.
He does not take after his father. He's a cool cat. I like him.
Although
I
can
think he's
throw
an awesome
him,
guy.
so if there's one thing his dad taught him was how to throw him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Now, I want to hear why you chose Parise over Eliage. I'm curious to hear this.
real
Mr.
simple.
Flyer.
Out of all the analysis, I saw the bracket and I thought, what choice can I make to piss Dean off? And I chose this one.
To be fair, you picked my favorite player, so it doesn't hurt me as much as you think.
Well, accidents happen, right? Anyway,
What my vote goes to Patrick Eliage. I was really sad that I did this to myself on purpose, but Parise's still my favorite player. I don't care what anyone thinks, but Patrick Eliage has too many records with the Devils. He was the face of the team of the offensive side of the team anyway. He helped make Parise the player he was with Langenbrunner on the team. Elias was there for all 3 cups, especially when he had huge contributions to 2 of the cups.
Yep.
What else? I don't know what else to say to that because Elias.
There's really not much else to say. I mean, we pretty much already covered what Patrick Elias was about, and pretty much what Zach Parise did in his short time with the Devils. I mean, it's fairly simple. You gotta take Elias over Parise.
Also, Elias also gets extra points because he started and finished a Devil.
He did.
You don't hear that often with players anymore in any sport.
Correct me if I'm wrong. His 26 has already been retired in the rafters. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It was hands down going to happen.
all right.
Oh, if it didn't happen last year, it was definitely happening this year.
All right, the next matchup. I had Brendan Shanahan and John McLean originally, but I changed it to Bobby Holik.
Okay, I have Pandolfo and Holik.
I have
and
Shanahan and Holik.
I have Holik moving on against Pandolfo.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I feel like Holik and Shanahan were similar type players. I feel like
Holik was the bigger player.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like Shanahan had a little bit more of the offensive upside, while Holik had the grittier side, but could still put the puck in the net. But I picked Holik because of his presence with the Devils for as long as, 2 terms with the Devils that he did?
It was a long 2 terms.
It was a long 2 terms with the Devils and just what he's done.
Yeah, Jeremy. Not to cut you guys off. Yeah, Jeremy, it was hard for me to say. Parise's still my favorite player, but Patrick Elias just deserves the vote.
Absolutely.
Okay, then. So, next up,
I have Jamie Langenbrunner against Taylor Hall.
I do too.
Ditto.
Okay, so I went with Langenbrunner.
I also went Langenbrunner.
I actually went with Taylor Hall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that just because Langenbrunner was a star?
No, it has nothing to do with that, but it has a lot to do with, I think, as much of an impact as Langenbrunner had with the Devils, I think as long as Taylor Hall is a Devil, he's going to have a much bigger impact. He doesn't have the leadership that Langenbrunner had, But then again, Langenbrunner also came from Dallas, where he was the captain, and he went to the Devils, where he wound up being a captain at one point. But it's just the offensive impact that he had immediately coming in to the Devils organization. I think it just tops Langenbrunner as of right now.
I myself gave it to Langenbrunner. If Hall stays with the team longer, it would be easy change to Hall for me. Hall,
Vice versa, too.
yeah.
You can change it from Hall to Langenbrunner as well.
Yeah.
So that my vote could change. We go 5 years down the road, and Hall doesn't wind up a Devil after this year. You could easily change it to Langenbrunner.
This is the season that's going to make or break the Devils. It's if they keep or lose Taylor Hall. It's either the Devils play well enough that Taylor Hall thinks there's going to be a good time for him to invest in the team and stay longer, or this is when he's going to say to the Devils, "Sorry, but I want to move on," and then the Devils are going to try to trade him to get something out of him, which I'm pretty sure any team will try to make a claim at him. But
Well-
I'm pretty sure the Devils will not trade him to a rival team.
No, absolutely
I
not.
doubt that, too.
So, yeah.
Who knows? Taylor Hall to the Ducks. Said it here first.
I would take it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, we could definitely use another top scoring right winger, but I'm good with what we have right now.
Yep.
All right, then.
All right.
So, let's see here. Next up.
I have Scott Niedermayer against Martin Brodeur.
Oh, this is brutal.
This
Is brutal.
All right, for me, this is no offense to your boy Niedermeyer, but I went with Brodeur.
I went with Brodeur, too.
I
You
also went
can't-
with Brodeur. No matter how well Niedermayer played, even if it was for the Ducks or the Devils, Brodeur was just the face of the franchise and still is to this day.
There's a reason why the poll question is the poll question. Again, Brodeur is the major contributor to them winning 3 Stanley Cups.
Almost 4.
He absolutely is.
Almost.
He helped change the franchise, and I don't think they realized what they had when they got him. And
They
just the way
drafted a skinny goalie. No one expected anything out of him. Also, there's the same thing was said about Pavel Datsyuk, who was drafted in the 6th round.
and now say what you want. I mean, you could argue this like easily. Brodeur is one of the top 3 goalies of all time, and in my opinion, the top 3 goalies came in that '90s, 2000s era: Marty Brodeur, Patrick Waugh, Dominik Hasek. So those are the 3 top goalies of all time.
I think that's going to
For
be
me, Brodeur is
that'll be
the
a
number one.
That'll be a debate for another day.
I mean, when you look at it this way, when Brodeur first showed up to the team, the Devils were not a good team. They were a fledgling team at best. Like, they had highlight moments, and they looked like they could make some noise with the right situation. But once Brodeur actually physically started getting onto the ice in his jersey, he actually single-handedly got the team into the playoffs. And not only did he get them into the playoffs, he got them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
In
And yeah,
year
they came short against the Rangers. But when you think about it, it's like he did that in his rookie year. His rookie year, he got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's
And
like,
in the following year, he wanted revenge.
and he
made
got
it to the cup.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit. I'm like, if that didn't tell you right then and there that they found a diamond in the rough, I don't know what the fuck would have at that point in time. It was an unbelievable situation, and it helped the Devils in the very early on establish themselves as being an actual franchise. Because let's be honest, who knows how long the Devils would have lasted without him? They wouldn't have lasted long. Hate to say it. But with that being said, actually, I wish that he hadn't actually gone to the Devils. But anyway, that's another story for another time. Moving on.
No.
What? We're going to break.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do.
I think Brodo is about to kill you.
No,
but-
relax.
I'm chilling.
Relax.
I'm chilling.
Relax.
Well, Brian's in the line of fire first, so.
Anyway,
Story of my life.
with that, we will go to break. When we come back, we will finish this bracket, give a preview of next week, and see what we have coming up for you guys in the near future here on A2DRadio.com and on the Hockey Happy Hour. We thank you all for joining us on Twitter and on Instagram. We'll say goodbye to you guys. However, though, you can hop on over to Facebook and also onto YouTube and catch the second half. Do not lie to us. If you are saying right now you don't have a Facebook or you don't have an account on YouTube, that's BS. We know you do.
You don't need
Go
an
there
account
and
on
watch
YouTube.
the second
Just
half.
search A2D Radio on YouTube. We
Yes.
got you covered.
Yes. Don't lie. You know you want to watch the rest of this, so please do.
Throne of lies.
With that, we are brought to you.
You don't smell like Santa.
You're not Santa.
He's not Santa. He's not Santa.
Hey, buddy. Trying to be funny? Trying to be funny?
Just let the kid talk. Go ahead.
He's an angry elf.
He must be a South Pole elf.
Look at the angry leprechaun.
Maddie, back to you.
With that, folks, we thank you all for joining us for this first half. We are brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give a call at 856-889-3434 or visit on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. We thank you all for joining us, and we'll be right back right after this.
Oh! 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 The carnage!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. Right here from the Real Talk Studios here in Mountie from New Jersey. Matt's in studio, the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
What up?
The Great Denson, Dean Sensi, who's in the spotlight today because we are crowning the greatest devil ever. And behind
sound
the
so excited
board
over there.
Move that.
is the sign guy, Mr. Ryan Roto,
Hello, hello, hello.
who has had some subtle strikes. Nothing serious yet, but we'll see.
It's been a calm day.
Yeah, it has been.
Thank God.
Until
Yes.
Until now.
All right, then. We welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by Skinzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.skinzanosports.com.
Got to be careful.
Yes. Never be too careful.
Never be too careful.
And with that,
we go to the top 4.
but before we do that, we do have a announcement of some news that broke a couple hours ago, apparently. The NHL goaltending great Cam Ward has officially hung up the skates.
Signed a one-day contract with the Carolina Hurricanes and retired as a Hurricane, which I think was fitting.
Yes.
Since he spent pretty much his entire career, except for 1 year with the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah, a couple moments there as a backup there. But no, literally Cam Ward, you know, he won the Stanley Cup with them his rookie year, and he was a fixture there for so long. A lot of players came and went, a lot of really good teams and a lot of really bad teams came and went, but he was the constant the entire time. So, hey, man, he had a great career, had a cup out of it. Congratulations on Cam Ward and his career.
Hall of Fame worthy, you think?
You know.
Not first ballot, maybe second
Maybe,
or third.
yeah, I would say more around
Okay.
that route. He did win a cup, but I think, like,
The problem is they're going to consider his play and consider the teams that
that's
he
the
was
sad
part of.
part, yeah, because the team went downhill while he was still on the team and never really recovered.
Even
for
though
the
he
most
was
part.
holding the team together as much as he possibly could.
Yeah, he can only do
he
so much.
did as much as he could.
I mean, he was.
Now, I know obviously he won the Stanley Cup in 2006 with the Hurricanes.
Yes.
Was he not the Conn Smythe winner that year? Because I feel like I remember him being,
believe
because he
so.
stood on his head that entire.
I think he was. If it wasn't him, then it was probably Rod Brendamore, but it probably wasn't. I would have to think it is Cam Ward.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, we can look that up. But I do believe it was Cam Ward. Other than that, though, yeah, I could see him getting in maybe second ballot, third ballot. But yeah, I think he had it really wasn't his fault that he didn't really get too much time in the spotlight in terms of like postseason action. It's really mostly contributed to the team he was on. The team really struggled for a long time with him as the goaltender because
Confirmed.
it was Cam Ward. Okay. It's just, the team rebuilt and unfortunately rebuilt again and rebuilt again and rebuilt again and could never get anything going. They really just started finally getting something in Carolina. It took a long time, but they're finally looking like a team again.
Yeah, I mean they're putting the pieces back in place, and they went out this offseason and got a couple more veterans that they needed going. Well, obviously losing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
This past year, so
No one expected out of them either,
no, just a bunch of jerks.
which is fun.
just a bunch of
Also,
jerks.
I loved watching their at the end of the game wackiness.
With their celebrations. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like something that got the fans into it, and
The fact that the league had to tell them to cool it down a little bit.
Well, that's something that I never understood why they did that, because it's like, hold on. So you mean to tell me you don't want the Carolina Hurricanes to draw money, which in essence draws you money? Gary Bettman, are you high? Are you snorting the same shit Kuznetsov's snorting right now?
Are you sure
Because-
Kuznetsov didn't get it from him?
Yeah. But it's
I don't think it's that. I think, there were quite a few celebrations that they had that were very
Over the top.
Over the top, yeah. Great way to put it. And
There was one I remember. Someone, I think they're like third liner, just jumped over to the other team's bench and just started like dancing on the bench. It was like weird.
something like that. One that stood out to me was the basketball slam dunk contest that they had after
I'm
the
sorry,
game.
that was still fun to watch.
That's hilarious.
It's all fun to watch. Absolutely. That's how you draw your crowd. Be like, all right, well, what are they going to do tonight?
Yeah.
So that's how you draw a crowd, and that's something that helped, I think, the team morale.
I will say, if we were doing an end of the season awards, which we did not do, I would say the ownership award, if we were giving one out, goes to Carolina for the rebrand because they absolutely reignited Carolina. Because for the longest time, the Hurricanes were just an afterthought, and now it's just like, holy shit! Now everybody's talking about them again. It's like I give a lot of credit to the Carolina Hurricanes ownership. You know what? Let's make this just a party at the end of the day. Let's just say, screw it. BYOB, have freaking fun, guys. Have crazy, goofy celebrations at the end. Let's call our team a bunch of
Who
jerks.
cares what Bettman says?
Yeah, who gives a shit what that freaking stick in the mud fucking piece of shit wants? At the end of the day, I will say, I give Carolina a lot of credit for that rebrand. I give their ownership a big nod for doing what they did.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
All right. We're down to the top four. Well, not top four, but the final four is a better way of putting it. The first part, I got Patrick Elias against Bobby Holik. Go.
That's who I got. That's Elias.
I
gotta
agree.
be.
It's got to be Elias. And, oh, no. I see the smirk on his face already.
I had Parisi and Holik, and I went Holik.
Is this just revenge from my Brian
yeah,
Boucher?
pretty much, yeah. That's the whole reason why.
Oh,
I
boy.
picked one of the guys that I thought, like, okay, who's a player that was a part of the Cup teams, was a contributor, but was more of a grinder? And I thought, Holik! Holik's the perfect choice. So I went with Holik.
I can't say that I blame you on that, but it's got to be
Oh, is that
Elias.
cocaine on there?
What's up?
Is that cocaine on that
What's
paper
white
right there?
powdery substance there?
Hey, listen, what I do with Kuznetsov on my own time is what
No, but I mean, it's Elias. Like, he's the second greatest player, in my opinion. Obviously, we're going to figure out who the other one is in a couple minutes, but he's the second greatest Devil of all time. There's no doubt. No question.
All right.
you.
I picked Elias.
Okay, so next matchup.
Jamie Langenbrunner for me and Martin Brodeur, and I think there's a clear winner here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who my other one is. It's Brodeur versus Elias.
Yeah, I agree. It's Brodeur, Matt.
I went Broder. Calm down.
I was about to start like
Langenbrunner versus Bobby Oli.
I should have done it, but I held back. I was being polite, and I went with
Polite.
Broder.
The St. Louis Blues legend.
Oh my god, that pissed me off. when I
Actually,
saw
yeah.
that.
I mean, let's
She cracks me up.
yeah, let's be honest, man. I don't know if anybody's really going to remember what he did with the Devils. It's really only going to be about his time with St. Louis.
You know, played like 5 games, became the assistant to the GM. You know, that's a promotion,
You know what?
right?
That's a good. You know what? I do have a Blues jersey that needs some lettering on it. Maybe I'll put Brodeur on there.
There you go.
I'm staying out of that conversation.
And I'll get you a Kovalchuk jersey, and we'll be complete there.
Yeah.
It used
That's
to
not
be.
a bad
I was
idea.
turning to Michael Ryder. Now I'm going to turn to Wayne Simmons. So by all means, do it.
All right. You could have Simmons for 1 year, so you know what? What do I care? Anyway.
All right, we're down to the finalists. Martin Brodeur and Patrick Elias for my vote. And I think Brian here is in agreement with me. And then the cocaine, I don't know what the hell he's doing over here.
Whatever the hell you were doing when you were filling out your Flyers bracket, apparently.
I mean, this is tough. Like, I mean, everything in the world says Martin Brodeur. And I can't think of a reason why I don't disagree. He was a huge part of the organization. He helped turn the organization around. He's a lot of the reasons why the team has 3 Stanley Cups to their name. And it's the reason why there's a reason why he's the GOAT. There's a reason why he's the GOAT. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's arguably the best goaltender of all time. he has most of, if not all, the records for goaltending in the NHL. I mean, you can't even make an argument for Elias, and he's a legend in the Devils in his own right.
The only thing I would say is that when Brodeur was backstopping the team, Elias was up front. That's the only thing, though.
Yeah,
One couldn't have done that great without the other one's help.
agreed.
But Brodeur, by far, it was upsetting when he left to go to St. Louis. He knew his career is about to end. He wanted to make a splash and try something new.
Well, I think he wanted to
But-
get more playing time, and I think as long as Corey Schneider was there with him, I don't think he was going to get with the
To be
playing time
honest,
he wanted,
if he
and
was
that's why he
still
left.
here, I think he would have taken Schneider's job back anyway.
Well, I mean, I'm just at that time, like he was starting to platoon more with Corey Schneider. They were trying to
But
push him in and push Brodeur out, and Brodeur said, "Fine, listen, when my contract's up, I'm going to test free agency."
well, even now, Brodeur is now in an advisement role with the Devils, which was probably going to happen sooner or later. He's with the goaltending development. Number 2, he's helping out the box office. He's actually making phone calls out to get season ticket holders to come back. And number 3, he's just one of the faces of not just the New Jersey Devils, but of the entire NHL league in general.
No, absolutely. Like, I mean, you go through most of the guys my age, everybody knows about Brodeur. You guys got to see the tail end of Brodeur. And if you had gotten to watch him play, and you still can, you can go on to like YouTube and stuff like that and still see his highlights and stuff like that. But to watch Brodeur play in his prime in the early, late 90s.
Literally standing on his head, make a save with his legs above his head. That was one of the greatest saves I've ever seen. I don't think I'll see any goalie top that still to this day.
No, they don't stack the pads like they used to. Everybody goes down. It's a butterfly league now, but Marty Brodeur was just he's something special. And
Also, when Brodeur broke into the league, he was like the first butterfly goalie in the stand-up era, but he was still considered a stand-up goalie to the goalies we have now.
yeah, I guess you call more the goalies that we have now are more hybrids. They're more like that mixed. But they're going to drop down low first. Marty Brodeur always stood up, and if he had to make the last minute ditch, he would do it.
He was one of the few goalies that wasn't intimidated by the player coming at him.
No,
Most goalies
the other
now-
way around. It's the other way around. The players are more intimidated because it's Marty Brodeur. He's, and I'm going to totally steal this nickname from somebody else. He's the great one. He's the great one. He's the GOAT. There's no, you can't change my mind on that.
Matt over here is very awkwardly silent.
Because I picked Holik. No. Actually, I'm joking. I picked Brodeur. Also, really, at the end of the day, I have no arguments against Brodeur. What am I going to say? There's nothing to say. Like, seriously. I will say this, too. I hate every member of the Devils team. I hate the Devils organization. I hate their stupid-looking jerseys. I hate their stupid fans. And I hate their stupid building. And I don't think they belong in the league. But I will say this. If there is one person I respect out of that entire mess, it is Marty Brodeur. He is the only one I do because at the end of the day, the man is the reason why the team is here. The team would not exist without Marty Brodeur. The team wouldn't have an identity without Marty Brodeur. Marty Brodeur is the New Jersey Devils at the end of the day. If you don't know anything else about the team, you know about Marty Brodeur. That's it.
I want to jump back to something that Jason Martinez said earlier. Top 3 Devils is easily Marty Brodeur number 1, Patrick Elias is number 2. For you guys, who's your number 3?
Scott Niedermayer.
I'll
Okay.
go Niedermayer.
All right, so we're
With
unanimous
Scott
there.
Stevens right up the rear.
Yeah, Scott Stevens is more like a 3B, but top 4 easily is those 4 guys because they're the 4 most recognizable guys to they're the first 4 guys you're going to think of when you think the New Jersey Devils. There's nobody else I can really think of off the top of my head that would be like, oh, when you think of this guy, you think of New Jersey Devils. No, Niedermayer, Brodeur, Elias, and Stevens.
It was even with Niedermayer spending, what was it, like half his career, almost like evenly split between Devils and Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly everyone remembers him as a Devil. Which, nothing to say bad against you right now.
No,
and
which is
you're
fine.
in a franchise. He had great years with the Ducks.
Yes, he did.
Even at the very end of his career, he stayed consistent.
Yep.
But he made a name for himself in New Jersey.
All right, so real quick, Kyle Meager chimed in. He says, I'm excited for the upcoming season. I think the Flyers can potentially be a 4 or 5 seed. I can't disagree with that.
No, it's true. It's possible.
They'll be I don't think they're going to land a division spot, but they'll be a wild card team.
But the Metro is terrifying. I hate it, and I love it.
I don't
And
know. We'll see what happens.
He says, Scott Stevens to me was the bread and butter for the Devils' success other than Brodeur. He was feared and cannot be duplicated in today's game. Again, I can't
Well,
really
easily
disagree
he
with
can't
that.
be duplicated because every hit he made is basically an elbowing, leaving the ice,
But
flat out murdering.
Legal hit to the head.
he was a physical dominant presence, and he wasn't. And people knew him for that. Like, that was his game. He was an enforcer. He was a defensive enforcer. But you look at all around game. You look at overall presence. You look at overall impact with the organization. It's Brodeur and Elias. Those are the two guys that made the most impact on this team. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Stevens didn't, but if we're talking like overall impact, it's those two guys.
I mean, it's just one of those things where you think of those franchise players when you think of a team. You think of the Dallas Stars, you think Mike Modano. Mm-hmm. You think Edmonton, you think Wayne Gretzky. You think San Jose, you think Patrick Marleau. These are players that are consistently. You think Flyers, you think Bobby Clark. You see the Ducks, you think of Teemu Selanne or Paul Correa.
Or Niedermayer, sadly enough.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, you can make an argument for
you can
Niedermayer now.
make an argument for Niedermayer. I would say more lenient towards the Selanne Correa side.
Selanne, easily.
Yeah. But you get my point. These are guys, that are franchise players. When you think of a team, you think of them. And Brodeur is that guy for the New Jersey Devils at the end of the day. Somebody may come along and break his records, but it may not
Maybe
be
in
for
45 years
a
from now.
long time, though, from now. When we're old men, that'll probably be when that shit happens.
I can imagine being the Pete Rose of hockey. No one's going to break my records. And if they
Who
do,
knows?
they don't exist.
All right. Well, that will be it for this edition of the Hockey Happy
I
Hour.
see Matt is very relieved.
I am.
It's over.
I am very relieved. It is over.
Wait till next week.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, it's only temporary relief because, unfortunately, the Penguin Muncher will be back, and he gets to have his time in the spotlight because we'll be crowning the greatest Pittsburgh Penguin of all time. Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be Lemieux. But anyway.
Claude Lemieux?
Yeah, that Lemieux. Anyway, with that being said, though, guys, we thank you for joining us. We will be back once again next week, 10 o'clock sharp here on A2DRadio.com for some more whatever the hell Hockey Happy Hour is. I'd say shenanigans. But anyway, Matt Sassuti, the Darkwing Brian Daly, the Great Denson, Dean Sensi, the sign guy himself, Mr. Ryan Brodo.
Did you forget Brodo's name?
No, I was pausing for dramatic effect.
You'll learn.
Yeah.
Gonna learn today.
Anyway, the show is brought to you by Skinzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.skinzanosports.com.
Oh, then he is down for the
Jimmy,
count.
no! Jimmy, no!
No, it was even worse. It was Ryan.
Pick him up now.
Finally, someone took a bump.
Apologize to him now.
Actually, I will apologize to you, Ryan. Thank God you were around or we would not have had a World Series in 2008.
Not
But
mine,
Somebody's
anyway.
going to admit it.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, guys, if you want to follow us here, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're on all social medias. We're also on the audio platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, all that stuff.
We love you too, Mikey.
SoundCloud. Yeah. Love you,
Do
Mike.
we?
See you next week. You do. Don't deny. Anyway, we thank you all for joining us here on the Hockey Happy Hour. We'll see you next week at 10 o'clock on A2DRadio.com. Bye, everyone.